ESPN did their top 10 position group rankings from the votes of NFL executive coaches and scouts. They went to cornerbacks today, and so Patrick Surtain from the Broncos was number one. The Browns' Denzel Ward checks in at number 2. Last year he was number 9 in the ranking. This year he is number 2, ahead of Sauce Gardner, L'Jarius Sneed, Jalen Ramsey, Trenton McDuffie, Jair Alexander, Jalen Johnson. Weatherspoon from the Seahawks is 9, and Stingley Jr. from the Texans is 10. NFL personnel evaluator about Ward. Fast, fluid, upper-tier coverage skills, high football IQ, can create ball production in man or zone, but can match up against just about any number one receiver due to his size and speed. Elite movement skills to cover in the slot when asked to do so. There was an honorable mention that had 4 or 5, and then a group of about 6 to 8 that had also receiving votes. In the also receiving votes category was Martin Emerson of the Browns as well. But Ward, number 2. I'm surprised he was that high. I don't disagree with it, but I'm surprised that he checked in ahead of Sauce Gardner and a couple of the other big-name guys.
Well, those guys are big names, and they are great corners and doing what they're doing. But I think it gets forgotten when we talk about, because we talk about Miles so much, and Miles is great. But Denzel Ward is as important to the Browns defense being able to do the things that they can do as Myles Garrett. Like when Denzel Ward wasn't in there those couple of weeks on the West Coast trip, the Browns really felt it, because then you can expose that, hey, Martin Emerson doesn't have the greatest long speed, or Greg Newsome, he doesn't really explode out of his breaks. Well, he doesn't do well with wide receivers who can explode out their breaks. So you can really take advantage of him on some dig routes. But when Denzel Ward is in there, he kind of erases all those problems and elevates everybody in that secondary because of it. You get the best out of Grant Delpit because you have Denzel Ward. You get the best out of Martin Emerson because you have Denzel Ward. You get the best out of JOK because you have Denzel Ward, because his elite ability in coverage. And also, this gets slept on. I think this has been something that's been slept on since he came out of Ohio State. He's a good run defender as well, like a very willing tackler. It's sometimes too willing, because sometimes he gets in trouble tackling tight ends, he gets hurt. But really willing tackler, really aggressive on screens, and pretty sure of a tackler for somebody in as small as a frame as he has. And when he's out there, it really allows everybody else to do what they're good at, because he's just good at so many things, right? If you have a slot guy that maybe that you know that Greg's not going to do a great job of covering, he doesn't have to worry about that. Why? Because you can just put Denzel Ward on him, right? That is the great ability. You don't have to worry about Jamar Chase because you have Denzel Ward. And that, I think, is what talent evaluators value. I think that's what coaches value. Those guys that you mentioned, great cover corners. They can do all those things, but they are great at that. Denzel Ward is great at so many different things and so important to what the Browns like to do, that when you're trying to plan something against that Browns defense, you start to notice and you go, that dude is a problem, because now we can't take advantage of these things we want to in the game plan because he's just destroying it.